Hello everyone, welcome back to the course on Instrumentation and Process Control. Myself, Nidhi Mehta, Assistant Professor at Chemical Engineering Department, LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So let's just start our today's topic, which is pressure measurement. So as we all know that being a chemical engineer, we need to deal with various parameters. Those parameters need to be taken care when we are dealing with production, when we are dealing with some kind of reaction kinetics and so on. Out of those parameters, temperature measurement, pressure measurement, composition, etc. are quite essential. We have already seen how we can measure temperature of different equipment which we have installed in industry and how we can determine temperature of different processes. Here we will start our today's topic with the topic of pressure measurement. Now, pressure measurement mainly can be done with use of the simplest equipment, which is known as manometer. Manometer are basically those equipment which work on the principle of hydrostatic pressure exerted by the liquid column. In manometer, unknown pressure is basically determined by balancing that against some known pressure. So this is the basic concept on which manometer is being designed and operated. Now, there are various types of manometer which we have used in our industries and which we can install at different equipment. So, first and simplest form of manometer is U-tube manometer. As you can see here in this picture, I have put three different figures, figure number 1, figure number 2 and figure number 3. Figure 1 is basically a U-tube manometer which is kept at held position or rest position when both the limbs of manometer are open to the atmosphere. Under that condition, the manometric fluid, which is yellow colored in the picture, is in equilibrium position, that is at both the limbs of manometer, the level or height of manometric fluid is same. So that is a condition when you have kept limbs of manometer open to the atmosphere. Now, whenever we need to determine pressure of any equipment, we just attach one limb of manometer to the given equipment and due to that the pressure will be inserted in that particular limb, as you can see here in the figure number 2. As the pressure is created due to that equipment, the manometric fluid will undergo the change, and that change is, it will travel from one limb to another limb. Right, it will suffer the displacement, and the displacement in height from one limb to another limb is utilized to determine the pressure. Now, when you attach your manometer to the vacuum, right, so what happens is, due to presence of vacuum, the manometric fluid will try to move to that limb which is attached to the vacuum equipment. So this is the simplest form of equipment. Now, let's just see how you can determine pressure using U-tube manometer. So, we can use the formula of differential pressure, that is P1 minus P2 equals to rho GH, and using this formula we know the height of liquid H which has been displaced, we know the difference of pressure 1 which we have applied. So, based on this particular formula we can determine the pressure. Now, the next is enlarged leg manometer. The next equipment which we are going to use is enlarged leg manometer. So, what do we mean by enlarged leg manometer? In this case, we are having one limb of manometer which is quite large in area and volume. So that limb, as you can see here, this limb of manometer is quite large as compared to the second limb. So in case of enlarged leg manometer, there is one float which is kept at this reference point at condition when both the limbs are open to atmosphere. Once we attach this section of manometer to the equipment where we need to determine the pressure. So due to that applied pressure, float will move downward of the reference point, and the movement of float will be indicated in the pointer using the pointer system. And this is the method of determining pressure using enlarged leg manometer. Next one is inclined tube manometer. In case of inclined tube manometer, as you can see, again the difference in volume of both the limb is already there, that is difference in area of limb 1 and limb 2 is there. But at the same time, there is an inclination of one of the limb. The second limb is placed at theta b with respect to the limb 1, and depending on that only we are doing the calculation. Once we apply pressure here, the liquid will start to travel in limb 2, and using the formula given here, that is P1 minus P2 equals to dm H cos B 1 plus A2 by A1, where A2 is the area of limb which is inclined and A1 is the area of limb which is vertical and conditioned. Now, the next type of manometer which is used is ring type manometer. So as you can see clearly in the picture here that ring type manometer is basically in the form of sphere or circle, right? So this is circular in shape. In this also the principle is same. We are just calculating the differential pressure using two limbs of manometer. The difference is the only theta here. As the pressure is exerted, manometric fluid will flow, and the movement of manometric flow will be counterbalanced using the weight, and the theta will be the inclination angle which will help us to determine the differential pressure in case of ring manometer. Counterweight is basically attached at the bottom of the ring, and it is assumed that at center of gravity ring itself without weight is at pivot, and when there is a pressure difference, then we can easily determine what is the pressure exerted by our system. Now, this was all about different types of manometer. Now let us discuss what is Bourdon gauge used to determine the pressure. So Bourdon gauge is basically a pressure measuring equipment, and it is used to determine pressure of different equipment. The basic idea behind using this device is that cross-sectional tubing, when it is deformed in any ways, will tend to regain the circular shape under the action of pressure, and this pressure is basically the pressure which was exerted by the equipment. So as you can see here, there is a process media, right? There are different parts of the equipment. The blue one is basically the Bourdon tube. This is the end of the tube, and these are the interlinking sections, right? Once the pressure is being exerted, there will be compression inside the spring, and due to that compression in the spring, the pointer will rotate, and the scale is calibrated in such a way that rotation of pointer will show you the pressure exerted to the system. The next equipment which we are going to cover is below pressure gauge. As the name itself suggests, it is a below type structure which is used to determine pressure of any given equipment. So, in this figure, as you can see here, these are the belows which are in the shape of below, or in simple words, it are thick springs. When we exert pressure from this section of the equipment, spring will have compression, and due to compression of the spring, this shield shaft or pointer will move. Movement of pointer is related to the pressure applied. So, both of them are calibrated in such a way that movement of pointer will directly give you the differential pressure, or will directly show you the pressure exerted or undergone by the system. The movement of free end of the below is basically represented by the differential pressure. This deflection is communicated to pointer, and that is shown in a pointer scale of equipment. Next equipment which is used to calculate or measure pressure is ionization gauge. In case of ionization gauge, we are trying to determine pressure using amount of current generated. The principle of operation of this gauge is sensing pressure of gauge by measuring electrical ions, which are produced when gas is bombarded inside the electron, right, or with electron. So, as you can see here in this figure, as you can see that once the gas is given inlet from this section, due to the inlet of gas, depending on the pressure of gas, anode and cathode are being determined, and as anode and cathode are determined, based on that the current will flow inside the circuit, and that current is then utilized to determine what is the exact amount of current, exact amount of pressure which is applied into the system. So, the current in the collector is basically proportional to rate of ionization, which is function of the pressure inside the system. Next is Pirani gauge. So, as you can see in this figure, Pirani gauge is basically consists of metal wire open to pressure, which we need to measure. The wire is heated by current which is flowing through it, and it is cooled by the gas which is surrounding it. If the gas pressure is reduced, the cooling effect will basically reduce, and hence we can determine the temperature. Next is McLeod gauge. So, in this McLeod gauge, the basic principle of working of this equipment is compression of sample of low pressure gas to a pressure which is sufficiently high to read the sample manometer. What we are doing here is, we are just providing vacuum to one end of the equipment and then trying to determine the pressure. The plunger is basically withdrawn, lowering the mercury level below the opening, and using that reference temperature and the temperature which was sensed after the equipment is being connected to the device, we can determine the pressure. The bulb and measuring capillary are then at the same vacuum pressure. So, this is all about pressure measurement equipment. Hope all the topics which we have covered right now are quite clear. Thank you.